We made it to the other side.
It is the beginning of the freeze-dried Thanksgiving show.
Yay!
This is Wednesday night live. Wednesday night with Yoots. Come on. Selah came to say hello. I'm not sure if she's genuinely coming to say hello or not.
I think so. She's that smart. She really knows.
Yeah, see, she's actually...
She just wants a smooch.
So we're going to do some freeze-dried food today. Freeze-dried Thanksgiving meal. A full Thanksgiving meal. How long did it take you to prepare a Thanksgiving meal?
Oh, my. I started at 5 in the morning. Well, I prepped a little bit the night before. And then 5 in the morning till 12:30. And then we ate at 1.
Is that more than 10 minutes?
It's more than 10 minutes.
So we're gonna do a 10-minute Thanksgiving meal.
I'm in. If it goes well, next year I know what we're doing.
We're also gonna open a MRE. You know what MRE stands for?
No.
Meal ready to eat.
Oh.
And that's an Army term. We got an official MRE from I think 2018, so it's a couple years old. Oh, Selah's.
There
Why
you
don't
go.
I get my treat yet? Here, take that.
Be gone with you, my child.
So we're going to take a look at that, and maybe some other surprises along the way.
Speaking of surprises, when you say that.
Speaking of surprises, we have the Thanksgiving hat last week. So this is just a few days following Thanksgiving, and Ida was out of town, so we decided to delay this theme till today. We talked about Thanksgiving. If you want to look at last week's show, we talked about Thanksgiving traditions, and it was really sort of the negative side, all the bad things about the Thanksgiving traditions, food that people don't really like. So you can take a look at that. But we had the Thanksgiving hat, and we forgot to wear it last week till the very last minute. Anna Marie put it on and said, well, we got to put so we just squeezed it into it. And so who's going to wear the hat this week?
Not me.
How do we determine?
I think we determine because my hair looks nice tonight. I'm having a good hair day. And I don't want to have a turkey hat on it.
Okay, I'll wear it. But it'll stick off the top if I wear it. Is
there some reason we're supposed to wear the turkey hat?
This is like a Viking turkey hat. So, well, we have to wear the turkey hat to Thanksgiving. That's what Thanksgiving's for.
Okay, well, I'll let you be the...
You know what I didn't do this year is I didn't have my Thanksgiving poppers.
What's a Thanksgiving popper?
We did it one year on the show.
Oh, yeah. I remember that.
Are you back? Here, have this. Oh, go away.
I ate my pot pie. Now I need my chewy.
Okay, so let's get to the show. What do you say? So
I'm ready.
We're seriously, we're talking a little bit about freeze dried food, and we're doing it in jest, but we also want to talk about emergency preparedness while we do.
Right.
So if you're just interested in the reaction to the food, it takes 10 minutes. So you want to just like fast forward for 10 minutes.
Okay.
But here it is. We got this Mountain House, not a sponsor brand, freeze-dried food, good for 20 years. Actually, this says it's best if used by February 2049.
Okay. I might have to freeze dry myself before.
So this is good for 30 years.
And what is it? What is the food in it?
So what this is this is a freeze-dried home-style turkey dinner casserole.
Home-style.
Stuffing, white turkey, and vegetables.
No.
Yep. So it says right there for 2.
Oh.
It's a meal for 2.
How much does something like that run you?
It was $9.
$9 for
There's 14 grams of protein in it. It's U.S. inspected, and we got to get to it though because it's going to take 10 minutes. Yeah. So it looks like you can just peel it off, but we got scissors in case you can't. But because I guess you have scissors in an emergency.
Yes, I would have them in my emergency kit.
But maybe not when you're camping. So there you go. So there it is. There's a little thing in here.
Oh, you have to take the oxygen thing.
I should have read the directions, shouldn't I?
I read them.
Is there just one oxygen thing?
Just one oxygen thing. Then you pour the water in, then you seal it.
Okay, open package at tear notch. Remove and discard oxygen absorber. Carefully add 1 1/4 cup. Well, I didn't bring a measuring cup. Do you know how much 1 1/4? Can you pour 1 1/4 cup without looking?
No.
This is actually really hot, so don't burn yourself.
Can I pour it in here first?
You can. It'd be harder to pour it in here once you pour it in there.
Well, I don't know how much 1 1/4 is, but okay.
Wait, should I hold this? Don't burn me, okay?
I'm not gonna.
I mean, it's one thing to pour water on you when it's not going to burn you, but...
Does that look like a cup?
No, it didn't look like enough. There. Oh, that was that. 2 cups.
Oh my word!
This is going to take forever now. Okay,
No.
so now I'm supposed to seal it up.
You know what? It already smells kind of like turkey.
Oh, look at that! Just like that, we got a turkey dinner. So
I don't know where you had this.
stir carefully and close. We've got to stir it. I just happen to have a stirrer. What's?
There comes a cup through the
Thank
door.
you for the cup. We already
did it, but thank you.
So,
thank you for the cup, though.
yeah. So it looks a little bit like stuffing. By the way. So there we go. I think we got too much water. I think you put too much water in there. Why'd you do that?
It's always my fault. Whatever happened. Okay, now
Hi, John.
you
Nice
seal
to see
it, and 4 minutes, right?
Did anybody else say anything I didn't see?
Linda said hi. People are ready.
Wait 5 minutes and stir again, and then reseal again.
Okay.
So how are we going to remember 5 minutes?
I could do my phone.
Okay, it's 8:07 by my watch right now. So at 8:12. So we'll just set that there. Let it. But while we have a saying in our household, Ida,
Yeah.
that you should never wait for dessert.
I like that saying.
Because you never know when the Lord's going to return. If he comes back before the turkey dinner.
Oh, well then you're right.
That's sort of the saying. Actually, that's my wife's saying. Got a lamp over there. Knocked my hat off.
Oh.
Okay, so I just happen to have some dessert.
What is it?
It's also freeze dried.
Oh no! Do you
It's
have to cook
a freeze dried ice cream sandwich. But you
You're
don't add.
making that
But you
up.
don't add. No. Yes, this is a real ice cream sandwich. It says it right there in the back. See, everybody, they knew you were going to say that. With real vanilla ice cream between 2 delicious cookie wafers. You'll be astonished. Astonished by the taste.
I bet I'll be astonished.
The best part is that this ice cream won't drip on your shirt or stick to your fingers. Why? Because like dozens of other foods that they've been making since 1968, it's freeze dried. This amazing process allows you to easily pack it in for wilderness adventures, wrap it up as a gift, hand it as a reward, or take it with you to the moon.
To the moon.
You going to the moon? See, it's light. It feels like it's crumbled a little bit. Maybe somebody stepped on it or something.
Okay.
But we're going to have dessert first.
Okay.
Okay, so first we're going to rate the. Sayla can smell that, huh? Look at her smelling the turkey. Where's that turkey?
It does smell like. It does smell like.
She's got a good nose, so she definitely knows there's food up here.
John says, "Well, they call it slack time when he mixes grout for laying tile. You have to stir it up, wait 5 minutes, and then go back."
There you go. That's what we're doing. It looked a lot like grout, actually.
Did it?
Okay,
I
so
didn't
look at that. Here, pull that out. Sayla's so funny. She's going crazy. She's like,
It's wrapped like
"What
an
is?
ice
Oh,
cream
it's got. Don't. There's stuff on the side. Don't let it fall out.
I won't
You're
let it-
tilting it. Okay, back off.
I'm
Man, this is
holding
driving
it
her nuts.
even as I can.
I don't know if there's someone in the building that could take Sayla, but this is gonna be a problem. So just open it up. Just don't see how there's slices. I don't know why there are slices. That's what I was trying to get you not to do.
Seal it down.
Get up.
Okay.
Get off.
It's cracked.
Something weird happened. Like somebody freeze dried it. Get off.
If she's interested in dessert, her Lord may come too. Okay. Okay.
So there you go. So have a piece of the.
Wait,
it looks
actually,
like one, doesn't it?
can I
Looks like an
see
ice
it?
cream.
I can't see the I can't see the screen, so.
That's good. Yep.
Okay. All right.
So you're gonna need food. You gonna have a piece?
Well, yeah. I don't want a big piece.
Give her some food.
Okay. You took all the little pieces. Thank
Here
you.
you go. Give her that.
Okay. I got a little piece now.
Are you astonished? You don't look astonished.
I'm actually astonished. It tastes like an ice cream sandwich.
Just like it, huh?
It does. Well, it's not cold though.
No, that's
And it's
what's weird. It's crunchy. I don't know how it got all crunched up.
Well, I don't know, but it's good.
I must have dropped it or something.
I'm praying that the turkey dinner is as good as the ice cream sandwich. And how much does something like this run?
I don't remember. A good bit. $5. $4.
Well, it would be a special treat.
How much would an ice cream sandwich cost?
$1, maybe. I don't know. Back when I was a kid, a nickel. But that's been a long time ago. Well, that's really delicious.
If you want to stop by, we'll share some with you.
Yes, come on by.
But the meal is just beginning. That's 5 minutes.
46 more seconds.
Oh.
I have my timer going. He's ready.
So, let's talk a little bit about preparedness. It's going to be hard. You talk, because I'm going to eat this.
What do you mean, me talk?
This
Well,
is
one
pretty
of the
good.
things that we talked about was, well, any time of year, but it's really important to plan for disasters. So you can't just have them pop up and then expect to know what to do. So being prepared is always important, and having a plan. So you should have something written down that's a personal plan. And I know you're the emergency trainer, right?
Yeah, I'm certified in Pennsylvania.
Who knew that? Oh,
There we go. All we get to do is stir and then wait 4 minutes. But we're getting closer.
stir and wait 4 minutes. Oh, I'm going to set it for 4 minutes then. But yeah, so in not so much here in Pennsylvania, but in the Midwest, we have a lot of tornadoes, and so being prepared for tornadoes and knowing what to do in a situation when you may be trapped or can't get out of your house, or at work and can't get in touch with your family, your phone's down, the phone lines are down. How do you you need a communication plan? How do you get in touch with your family and let them know that you're all right or where you are? So yeah, so I think it's important to have a disaster plan.
Yeah. So if you want to get a disaster plan, a really good source. Here's what you should do: just spend a couple of minutes thinking about it. And there are a couple things there. Let me just make a mess just to seal this up. So let's stand. Wait 5 minutes, stir again, and reseal.
Then let it stand for 4.
Then stand for an additional 4 minutes. I think open.
Oh,
So there we go. I stirred it.
okay.
All right.
It's stirred. Kristen said Peter used to eat MREs when he was on the field in active duty.
Here's an MRE, a shot of an MRE. In fact, I teased this at the beginning, but I got you an MRE.
You got me an MRE?
I did, right here. Look, here's
Well,
your.
how nice of you.
I got it for you for Thanksgiving. So there. So open it up. Let's see what's in it.
Okay.
We locked Zayla out, so if you hear her barking in the
Peelable
background,
seal.
she's not starved or anything. She's just really.
I don't know what peelable seal means. I'm sure.
So back to the disaster recovery. If you really want some information about disaster recovery, you could go to the you could just search on Red Cross disaster, Red Cross disaster or Red Cross emergency preparedness, or Red Cross. You aren't going to be able to reseal it, but that's okay. That's okay. We're not going to reseal it. Red Cross emergency, and if you have a person with a disability that is in your circle, put the word disability in there, because they have specific stuff for people with disabilities, and there's specific things that people with disabilities need to think about. So there it is.
Word.
What's in there?
I don't
Multiple
know.
parts?
There's stuff.
Well, I got you the special one. This is the chicken chunk. It was the closest thing that I could find to a turkey dinner.
Okay.
This is the chicken chunk. And it comes with its own heaters. So I don't think we're going to heat it today. We could eat some of the other stuff, though. So
It says if you can't eat everything in the container, eat a little bit of each pouch, because then you get a balanced nutrition.
yeah, smart.
So don't fill up on dessert.
So the MRE, inside the MRE is sealed again.
I'm cutting it.
You have to be You have to be someone in the military to open the package. So that was That's
And I'm
that's
not.
part of the training. They give you
So,
enough muscles to
yeah.
open the MRE. That's like one of the exercises they do. 3 o'clock in the morning, we're going to go out and open
Restriction of
MREs.
food and nutrients leads to rapid weight loss, which leads to loss of strength, decreased endurance, loss of motivation, and decreased mental alertness. Okay, so this is, what is this? Buffalo style hot sauce,
Oh, hot sauce.
tropical ranch beverage powder.
Really?
Yeah. Cheese spread. Cheese spread? Oh my! Tortillas. Plain tortillas. Did you get me tacos?
Yeah.
Well, you know that for our holiday dinners, we do Mexican food. Okay, let's see. Reese's Pieces.
How about that? Who knew?
Who knew? What is this? Chocolate flavor First Strike nutritious energy bar.
An energy bar, of course. That makes sense.
What else? Condiments, salt and pepper and
Yeah.
sugar.
Of course.
A little gum because sometimes
gum.
MRE gives you bad breath.
Yeah, it's good for your breath.
That's our 4 minutes. And then
I think I stir again. Let's stand. So
What
wait
is this?
5 minutes. Stir again.
this is the chicken chunks. This scares me. Chicken chunks.
There are no directions?
If there are, I don't know where they are. Where is that card? Oh, I'm getting all over my computer.
Oh, we're getting ready for a meal.
Doesn't
I'm a little
say
bit
what
hungry.
to do.
No, it doesn't say what to do. So just open it.
Open the chicken chunks?
It's gotta.
Do we have something?
What, do you want to wait?
Well, I don't want to get it all over my computer, that's for
It's
sure.
interesting that it wouldn't
It's got a little, yeah.
wouldn't say something like what you're supposed to do.
Maybe people who eat these are,
People who eat actually know how to
Yeah.
eat.
yeah. It's like, second nature.
Ingredients, but no directions.
You just have to,
Maybe it's part of the training. Is that possible?
it could possibly be.
There's directions on this. Add 1/2 canteen cup. 12 ounces of water.
Okay.
That's what half a canteen cup.
I don't know.
So they have a 24-ounce canteen cup. I'd like to see that canteen. Purified.
Purified. Okay. Are we opening it? Are we opening chicken chunks?
Yeah.
Do we have a plate?
Here, how about this? I already used one plate. Go ahead.
Okay.
So,
I'm excited. about
So back to emergency preparedness for just a second, and we'll get to the eating here in a second. You can't open that either?
I can't. I'm
Ida,
sorry. I would starve to death out in the field.
I'm really glad you're not in the armed forces.
Me too.
This
Although
would be
I would like to serve my country.
bad day
somewhat.
for you. They don't have scissors, you know.
Oh my gosh.
So, did you smell it? Mm-hmm. Smell good?
I don't know if I.
Come on, it smells good.
Oh no. It smells like.
Are we going to eat it? It doesn't say used by. 22, 26, 12. What does that mean?
22, 20. I don't know.
22, 20. That's a time, isn't it? Yeah, so this is probably when it was made.
Okay. It looks.
Here, you want a bite? It looks like a chicken chunk, doesn't it?
Are you going to taste it?
Of course.
Okay. If Peter could have this out in the field, we could have it here.
That's right. We're going to find out later, though, that it was supposed to be cooked. But here we go.
Well, you get a fork. I don't. So
Oh, her.
I can do it with my fingers.
Oh. It tastes like canned tuna. It's processed similar way. You have a bowl over there. Ida insisted on a spitball. It's really not bad. You need to ask David, because David eats this kind of thing. He eats a can of chicken for his diet.
Okay, I really can't. There's another timer for 4 minutes that just went off.
Okay, so we're ready for turkey meal.
Okay.
Here, I'll take this.
Cooked might be better, because that tastes sort of... It's chicken, but it has the texture of, like, liver. I don't know.
No, it's like tuna. It's flaky.
Okay.
It was flaky like tuna. You know, Kristen says that they're really pretty good, and that's what I've heard too. That MREs are pretty good. You might have to be a little bit hungry though.
We're trying sea rations. We're doing a freeze dried Thanksgiving to see what we would do in the event of a disaster. So.
Okay, here you go. Did you get a spoon already?
No.
Wow, that's hot. Here.
That's what happens when you put boiling water in it. But
Here,
at least
there's the dessert fork. Sorry.
Oh. Well.
I gave you the other fork, didn't I? Here's a regular fork.
I'm fine.
Here's a knife. Well, it's a formal meal here. It's turkey dinner.
Oh, you're giving me all the...
Here.
I've got spoons. Okay, thank you.
No, those are long spoons.
Oh, so I have one of everything.
Okay, so let's take a taste. It's pretty hot. I was worried about holding it, but there's like a little rim down here that goes around. So
they think of everything.
Yeah, so it isn't too hot in my hand. I can feel the heat. If I were holding it like here on the edges or on the bottom.
Can I see what it looks like?
I don't think you want to look at it. It just looks like turkey, like stuffing. Looks like stuffing. It does. It's gonna be out of focus, but right here probably is the focus point. So here we go. Look, I see vegetables. You got vegetables in yours?
I think so.
There's carrots. There's green beans.
Mm-mm.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh.
It's gonna taste great. This is gonna be good.
I'm watching your face.
I didn't get any chicken, but it's really good.
Actually,
I could eat that. This is significantly better than the MRE.
It's definitely better.
You got some turkey?
I did, and it's actually good. I'm impressed. Okay, the ice cream sandwich was good, and this turkey dinner, not bad.
I did get like an old MRE.
Of course you did.
So
was
that
it
might
on
be
sale?
Well, you can't just get an MRE. You have to be in the military.
Okay.
There are definitely green beans and carrots.
Well, okay. If you're out hiking or if there's a disaster, you can't cook, boil up some water, toss it in this bag. It's good to go.
I got turkey in that bite.
Yeah, I got turkey in my first
That's
bite.
a big chunk of turkey.
Not bad, guys.
Yeah, y'all should try it.
So all the work that you do on Thanksgiving Day, all those hours and hours, 10 minutes, you're good.
Now here's the thing: in a real emergency, you'd have to figure out some way to boil the water.
Right.
You'd also have to figure out how to get clean water.
Yes.
Before you boiled it, because it might not just come out of your tap.
Well, and you might not want it out of your tap.
So there's a lot of things you'd have to think about. If you can buy. We found like you can get like 72 hours worth of food for what was it, $100, $100 or $200 depending on how high.
You're enjoying that, aren't you?
I'm hungry.
I love it that you're eating that freeze dried, but
Again,
it actually is good.
Stop by, we'll give you some.
Yeah, come on over.
The carrots are a little undercooked. They're a little too crunchy for me.
Al dente?
Yeah, I like my carrots a little bit more.
Oh.
What was that?
I don't know. I forgot to turn off my timer.
That was a snooze alarm.
Yeah. So we don't want that I guess.
So the texture's a little mushy. Here, let's get a shot of it so people can see. So it's less appetizing to look at.
If I would have seen this, I wouldn't have put it in my mouth. but yeah, there you go. It does just look like stuffing. You can't tell that there's little pieces of turkey crammed in there too.
Truthfully, it's pretty much what it is. It's stuffing.
Yeah. But it's got little chunks of turkey.
Yeah.
It didn't taste like that chicken stuff from the other.
Kathy, somebody will get you at the door. Come on in. You can get your own. I got mine at Walmart.
Is that where you got them? I didn't know they sold such a thing at
They do
Walmart.
in the camping section of Walmart.
Oh. Well,
But if you're going to get like the big prepper box,
the prepper box.
yeah,
There's a prepper box.
that's what I was talking about. You can get 7-day prepper box. Has all sorts of things of food.
Well, yeah. The thing of it is, all kidding aside, we really should be prepared for disaster. And like people say, especially people who do prepare and have this food available, they say, yeah, laugh at me till you come knocking at my door looking for food when there's no food available. So, any port in a storm, it looks great.
So this meal for $9
Yeah.
for two, $4.50 a person. That's cheaper than McDonald's.
Definitely. And
Probably not.
actually tastes better. Oh, I shouldn't say that.
Probably not quite as much food as you would get.
Maybe not quite as much food, but I think it
But-
tastes all right.
At the Walmart at the same time, they had 12 meals. 12 meals for $1.98.
That's a frightening one.
Ramen noodles.
With
And these are
shrimp.
shrimp. Look at that. There's 12 of these in there for $1.98.
So he found the bargain, no doubt.
And I had one. There's only 11 left. I already tried one.
How was it?
It was not as good as either the MRE or the...
Okay.
It was
that's
okay,
all.
though. In a pinch.
In a pinch.
Anna Marie told me this is what's wrong with people's health is,
Ramen noodles.
yeah, that,
There's so much sodium in there and chemicals that it's
but
really...
the price is so low.
Yeah.
But it gives you some flavor. So I did that. You also need something to drink, so... keep knocking my hat
Oh,
off.
John's telling us there's water filters that are very lightweight. You can take water right out of a stream.
Yeah, have you seen those straws? They have those straws that you can...
I've seen them, but
You don't
where
think
can
they
I
work?
put this?
Here you go. I'm just going to eat it. I'll put it over here.
Okay.
I'll just eat
You
it.
just keep munching away.
Look,
Bubbly.
have you ever seen the commercial with Michael Bublé? And he says, not bubbly, Bublé.
No, boobly.
He thinks it's his drink,
I haven't seen it.
but it's not. That's for you.
It's for me?
Raspberry.
Is this a prepper drink?
Well, no, you need something like that. You need some canned...
Oh,
You,
I see.
you need some water or some... And, if you're going to have water, you might as well have sparkling water. If you have sparkling water, it might as well be flavored.
That's true. You're not having a drink? Oh, well.
I did drinks alone. Don't tell anyone.
Really, it's our little secret. Not bad. Thank you.
My hat messed up my hair.
Kind of takes out that horrible MRE chicken taste.
Yeah. Hey, we don't want just MREs.
No.
We didn't have the dessert. I mean, first of all, you can't go wrong with Reese's Pieces.
No, that was nice.
Why
And
didn't you open those?
Well, because you just opened the chicken and I lost my appetite after that.
Yeah, the chicken wasn't quite
The
good.
chicken wasn't
But
very
I wonder
good.
if it was supposed to be cooked.
Gonna put some
So
of these-
I feel like I've been all over the place on the preparedness. So one of the things I want to tell you about preparedness is here's something that you really need to think about. I think from my whole class that I taught on this, this is, I think, the most important point. You need to take a step back and think, if I didn't have the things that I usually have, like if electricity was out for 4 days, so I don't have any heat and I don't have any light, like what would I do? So the other day the lights went out at night here, and I said, oh, that's no problem. We have flashlights hanging in our laundry room. And I
But
went
do
in
they have
there,
batteries?
and indeed there were 4 flashlights hanging in the laundry room, but none of them worked. But we know where our batteries are, so I was able to use my cell phone to get to the batteries and then put those in the... And then by the time I got the batteries and got the flashlights, then the power came back on. But if it were 72 hours, I would have been okay. But so I had a whole bunch of them sitting there with nothing. But knowing that the flashlights were in the laundry room is like a big step. Like you just need something like that, right?
Right.
You ought to have a radio for a long-term emergency so that you can get some communication, so you can know what's going on.
A battery-operated radio.
I have some experience in this because I was in Florida the year that 4 hurricanes came through. And it's funny because I forget what the names were now. But if you draw the path of the 4 hurricanes, they came from different sides and different locations in Florida. If you draw the 4 paths, they all cross in one place. And that was my house. They actually used my house for the spot where all the paths crossed. So we were...
How fortunate.
And we treated each one a little bit differently because they give you days of warning. And the first one we ran away because they told us to run away. So we did.
You evacuated.
Yeah. And it didn't come through. And the second one was supposed to come through my brother's house, so he came to my house, but it veered north of his house and came right through so he came to my house, and we spent the...
And you had the hurricane there?
Had it there. And, but like one of them, the power was out for 3 days. And there was, all the roads were blocked. So not only was the power out, but you couldn't go anywhere. Like literally, all the roads were blocked. There were trees over all the roads.
Well, I think that's one of the things. If you've actually lived through a disaster, most of us are not conscious enough about or aware enough that we need to be prepared for a disaster until you actually live through one, and then all of a sudden you become brilliant because you don't ever want to go through that again.
But do me a favor. Take an hour. Sit down with your loved ones or by yourself, either way, and you can inform people because any little bit of preparation helps. But like I did all this preparation. I thought, we have a whole pantry of food, so we'd be okay for quite a long time because we have all these cans of food. And so I went out and I got a can. I said, okay, so here's a can of food, like David's chicken that he has and tuna fish. This will all keep. This will all be fine. Well, So then I went over and I thought, oh, my electric can opener. So how would I open it? Well, I'm sure I have a can opener in the drawer.
Did you?
But I didn't. And the only thing I could find was I found a knife that has one of those like sideways can openers, but I couldn't make that work. Like I tried that. And so in the end, I went downstairs. Actually, what I opened was another freeze-dried here. It's freeze-dried strawberries. You want a freeze-dried strawberry? Have you had one?
No, but they look like rose petals.
So this was a can, $22 for this.
Oh my!
Little bag of. So this is really
a strawberry.
Yeah.
You just put it in your mouth.
Yeah, you don't They're not the sweetest strawberries, are they?
No.
But they're strawberry. Here, drink some water with it. So, yeah, so Kathy has a generator. So you need to think about that, particularly if you have some electrical need where you have to have electricity or something.
Definitely.
You have to have a generator. There's people on like oxygen that use power. If you use a CPAP or what's the other one called? BiPAP. If you use a sleeping machine, right? Can you be without that for 3 days?
Probably not. You shouldn't. You shouldn't for sure.
So
yeah, and there's people that are on ventilators at home, and so anyway, yeah, I think that's important. We had a tornado come through in Illinois early one spring, and it knocked out power. We were without power for a week, and it was cold. I mean, it was very cold, and actually glad to go to work, but you couldn't get out to go to work because there were trees over. I mean, really, it was an interesting thing. We were all trapped. I worked for a home health agency. We managed to get out to see our patients.
Was it in the winter, did you say?
It was early spring. So anyway, we have different things now in our preparedness package, including a chainsaw and boots and gloves. And water. Water became very, very important.
But the point is, you can't prepare for everything.
Right.
The point I'm trying to make is, you don't. The preparedness programs like that I taught, it was like how to prepare for everything, and that's really hard. But to prepare for a few things is actually really easy, and those could be life or death.
Right.
For instance, if you have you thought about what would happen if you can't get your medication for a period of time? Do you have a system in place where you have enough medication that if there was a disaster, you'd be able to, that you have enough inventory that you'd be able to make it for a while, and then you have a plan for what would you do and where would you go
right
after that time frame? It's worth thinking that through, particularly if it's a critical medication. Right.
Well, actually, you're making me think now, because people on insulin that has to be refrigerated, if there's no power, then how do you keep your medication refrigerated? So that we need to think about those things in advance.
So it's just a good exercise to sit down for an hour, take a piece of paper, and here's a couple things you should do. Mm-hmm. One is, in an emergency, you might the emergency happens when you don't expect it. You don't plan. Other than this planning for the emergency, it just pops up sometimes. So it could be, for instance, that your child is at school and you are at work.
Oh yeah.
So you need to, or your spouse is at work and you're at another work, right? Or you work different hours. Your spouse is at work and you're at home. So you need to say, here's what we do. So let's say I was at work, Linda was at home, and we had this disaster that closed down all the roads. Mm-hmm. And there wasn't any way to communicate because all the cell towers were down, all the phones were down, so we couldn't call each other either.
Right.
So in that case, you just need to know what each other are going to do. So just decide that ahead of time. Mm-hmm. Here's basically, so just talk through that a little bit. Here's basically what I would try to do in an emergency. And so one good thing is to have an emergency contact out of town. So you have sometimes a really big, it have to be a really big emergency to be more than just geographically local. Mm-hmm. So we have my sister Ruth, who lives in California. We all say, that's what we're going to do, is we're going to communicate to Ruth, and she would be like the point of contact. So we can't necessarily get to each other, but if I could borrow a phone, then or I could get hold of some sort of communication device, mm-hmm. I would try to get to Ruth to let her know.
Smart.
Here's where I am, and here's what's going on and what I'm trying to do. Mm-hmm. And then the same thing, my family would try to do the same thing. Right?
Then Ruth could communicate to everybody as they call him.
And Ruth is hearing it all coming. Yes, I heard from Cal. He's doing okay. He's over on the other side of town. He's going to try to go to such and such a place. Mm-hmm. So then you have a good sense of so just having that like out of town emergency mm-hmm. contact is a really good thing. Another thing is having a meeting place.
Yes.
Where we would both in your home and outside your home. So if something happened in your home and you all had to get out of the house, where would you go to find each other? Mm-hmm. If somebody runs out the back door and over to the neighbor on the left, and then somebody else runs the front door into the neighbor on the right, you go to different places, except if you go out the front door and go to the right, you go out the back door and go to the left, you go to the same neighbor. But anyway.
There's that.
But you might 50-50, you might not go to the same neighbor. So you need to say, no, we'd go over here. This is where we would meet. Mm-hmm. And you'd want that place because you don't want to be looking for each other in the cold, for instance, or in the rain, or in a situation where you don't know where you're going to be. So just some small things like that. The other thing is writing down like what you really need. What are the things that you would need to take with you? So again, if you have a disability, that's a different kind of a list, mm-hmm. and those are things that other people might not think of for you.
One of the things that I thought was interesting was you should have some cash on hand, because if a disaster strikes and power's out, then you won't be able to scan your credit card at the gas station, or the gas pumps won't even work really without power. Yep. So cash. And not many of us carry cash anymore.
And then you ought to have a little card with your emergency contact on it, so that and you could put it, if you have a young child, you could put it in their backpack. Say, in case of emergency, call this number.
That's good too.
Call this person in this number. So to me, that's one of the most. But just talking through it a little bit. If you have a service dog, you have another set of issues because you need dog food, or
what shelter will take service dogs.
You need to know all that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So that'd be a good one here, is to figure out like what shelters would be around. So anyway, go to Red Cross look up Red Cross Disaster Disability, and they have good preparedness guides and lots of things. Do you have it?
I actually have
Printed it out.
So it's
It says FEMA on it, but it has
it's from the American Red Cross and FEMA, and it's at the American Red Cross's website, and it's only 20 pages, but it's got some really good tips, and would highly recommend that you get that and download it. We can also put a link to it in our doobly-doo. We can put a link to it
Sure.
on our along with
down
this,
below in the description
video. Yeah.
So, but all the forms and things that are in there are in that thing. If you go to the website, you'll see the stuff that I'm talking about. They'll also give you some information about what kind of disasters that you might be preparing for. Like we're probably not preparing for a tsunami here in Pennsylvania.
Right.
But there are others that, so things are geographic, so that helps you think through things a little bit. And it's really just be ready, and it gives you a big peace of mind. You don't want to get to that point and not be ready.
That's true.
So
Thank you for that.
So look what I ordered.
You got yourself
on Amazon.com right there. It's
you
a can
are ready
opener.
now.
So I now can open my cans by hand. So what happened was my power can opener went out.
Oh.
And so I actually couldn't open the can. So I went downstairs with a screwdriver and a hammer, and I went around the edge of the top of the can. So it was possible.
Any port in a storm, that's, if you have to do that, you have to do that. But yeah. I even have a crank flashlight. So if your batteries are dead, you can crank the flashlight, and the flashlight will run for a certain amount of time until you crank it again. So, yeah. My
experience is those things don't really work. We had a couple in Florida. I think you said you had a crank radio too.
I do. Well, we did disaster planning at the hospital I used to work at, and on a big level, and we were one of the power sites for disaster training, and so I got that as part of the disaster training. It was really nice. We all got a backpack with just bare necessities in it. One of them was a crank flashlight, a crank radio, some granola bars, some energy bars, 2 bottles of water, just something to keep you going till you could get to the stuff you could.
Water's a really big thing.
It's huge.
The amount of water that you need is surprising. Oh, that's on the website.
Yeah.
But you need a lot of water for a day. And
more than those 2 bottles.
You can get by without it a little bit for a while, but I can't remember exactly what it is, but something like a gallon or 2 that you need. And even like if you're going to wash and stuff like that, depending on how long it is. We had a disaster here. We had like 30 inches of snow and lost power in the middle of winter.
Oh my.
And for days. And we lasted 3 days in our house. The first day was fine. Got a little bit cold at night. The second day started to get cold, and we all wore gloves and jackets and stuff. Put a fire in the fireplace. Slept in our jackets that night. The third day we decided we got to go somewhere. We can't.
How old were the kids at that time?
I'm not sure. It was probably 8 years ago. So.
Oh my. Yeah, that's hard. It's another thing. Like when you're an adult and you can put up with stuff, but when you're a child, it's totally.
So that was just localized here, and it was sort of fun. And we were fine when we were around the fireplace, but we had firewood. You need those kinds of things matter.
They do matter. You start burning your chairs and whatever.
We had a way of starting the fire. All those things. It wasn't a gas fireplace. It was a so. So anyway, just I want to encourage everybody to think about it. It's an exercise worth having.
Yes.
Sit down with your family, talk about who our emergency contact is, where we would meet, what we would do, what you would expect, particularly children, and if they're young children. I haven't done this. I'm saying because I'm reminding myself. Now that my children are grown up, they would have ideas on what to do. And they might be ideas I wouldn't think of. So at this point, now that they're a lot more proactive on their own, we need to talk about where we would really do what we do. So if they're at school, they'd be like, "Oh, well, I'll just go over to so and so's house, and I'm sure they'll, So we need to talk about and decide some of those things. So I'm going to try to do that.
Sounds like a good
I'm
plan.
going to go without my turkey hat.
I wish you would.
So you do
People
it too.
will take you a lot more seriously without your turkey hat.
You do it too. Sit down, just have a short conversation. Write that card down. Figure out who you're talking to. Just those very small things. Think about the essentials. So the things that you absolutely need to have, and how you would go about doing that. By the way, all the hospitals, all the emergency are set up for the priorities. Mm-hmm. So people that have those kinds of medical emergency problems, that's where everybody's going to be paying attention. So you're not going to get police and hospitals just paying attention to I'm really hungry or I'm very cold.
Right.
That you're not going to get that. Because the people who are being attended to are the people who need a dialysis machine or mm-hmm. Something that some piece of technology.
Yeah.
So generator. I don't have a generator, and I've been thinking for a long time I should get a generator.
We bought one after that tornado, that early spring tornado, because we were so cold. And I always said the next house I buy, in every house after that, I'll have a wood burning fireplace because it was so cold. And so we have both now.
I think we would have made it in this house. This house has a wood burning stove in the back room.
Oh.
And so we could make it there for a long, long time off that wood. We could make it from the heat of that for a long time, just staying in that room. But jugs of water, yeah. On Y2K in the year 2000, everybody's worried that we were going to lose everything, that all the electronic stuff was going to shut off. And so we filled up our bathtub the night before Y2K so that we'd have gallons of water.
Well, that works.
So water is one of the biggest deals. Mm-hmm. And figuring out how you would go after that. So So Kathy is saying that you make sure the power company knows. And are there other comments? I haven't paid a lot of whole home generators. Wow, that. And I think we're going to see more and more of that as people come off the grid.
The first generator we bought, somebody stole it because it has to be outdoors, of course, because it's powered by gasoline, and so you want it away from your house because of the fumes. And somebody stole it, so it, we were still cold.
So you learn lessons.
You do learn lessons.
Did you want some more turkey dinner?
No, thank you.
I had a little bit just a bit ago. It was getting cold. I think it'd be okay as leftovers. So.
Oh my.
We're gonna have it tomorrow too for lunch. You and me, in the office.
Okay. Kristen, that's a great idea. I'm glad we got you thinking about it because, like you said, with Emma being on a feeding tube, you want to be prepared and have the things she needs when she needs it.
Yeah, so smart. Just have that little set, and just think about how much peace that gives you.
Right.
I hope you never need it. I hope it's a waste, but they are. It's not like they're uncommon. That's the thing, that they do happen, and it's a surprise. But we ought to be a little prepared. There are some big things that could worry you if you think too much about it. Sometimes I think there's alarmists. There's also, everybody recommends an emergency bag. Again, if you go to the Red Cross site, they'll say some things that could be in your emergency bag. Actually, if you look at the there's a graphic for this show on YouTube, and that front graphic has the has the bag, and it actually has a picture of the stuff in the bag. So you want like scissors and tape and things like that just sort of a little kit that you can do stuff with. You need matches,
right? Stuff
like that. That you get. So just like you're saying, Kristen, if you need some feeding tubes, boy, you wouldn't want to be without that for a few days, right?
Right.
And so if you could just grab a bag and go, you'd be far along in the process.
Yes, it's great. I mean, the goal of this show was to have fun, but it's also to just get you thinking and help us all think together about what we need to put together.
Yeah. We should maybe do some emergency preparedness videos to put them on the website. The problem is nobody would watch them till it's time for the emergency, and then you don't have the internet.
Well, I was speaking to someone on one of the groups I belong to on Facebook, and she was saying that there is the disaster preparedness plan that she has for individuals with disabilities doesn't include what to do if you're in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. So it had it was addressing people who were blind, but it wasn't addressing people who were in a wheelchair. So for each individual specific circumstances, you need to make a plan.
Yeah, that booklet that you have, it actually even breaks it down. And there are specifics. There are little pamphlets that break it down for each major type of disability. So if you have a physical disability, they have a different thing there than others.
I didn't find those, so I need to find the link to those.
Well, they're in that book. They're in that book that you showed.
Oh, okay.
So that the checklist that's in that book has all those different things. It has questions.
Okay, good.
For those categories. So.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I really want to commend to you the Red Cross site. They have lots of money was poured into getting the right stuff on that website. We used to have one in Pennsylvania, but even when the Pennsylvania one worked, I'd refer people to the Red Cross. In my seminar, I'd always refer to them because I just felt like the Red Cross stuff would be longer lasting, and they're always dealing with this. So let's see. So that's our show. On the topic, but maybe we should let me see here. Do you want to do your saying of the week?
I can. I'd be happy to.
Let's bring in.
So since we're talking about preparedness and being ready, this one just sort of popped in my head, and it's: we cannot force someone to hear a message they're not ready to receive, but we must never underestimate the power of planting a seed. So we hope we planted a seed in your head tonight about disaster preparedness, and maybe you're not ready to think about it tonight, but please do think about it. We hope the seed was planted. So thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Ida. That's really cool. Where's my? Why didn't my? There we go. So let's do the joke of the week too.
Oh, there's a joke of the week.
Yep.
Well, you wouldn't want to miss that.
Dawn Owen.
Okay.
A good friend of. She's part of the Pit Care organization, and she's the wife of our board member Jeff Owen. Mm-hmm. But she is a talented lady in her own.
Yes,
to say she's his wife is, you really ought to say he's her husband.
Mm-hmm. I'm with you on that. Dawn is amazing.
But Dawn had something relevant because I was talking to Dawn about emergency preparedness.
You were.
I just happened to be, she and I happened to be having a conversation.
I see.
A fictional conversation. And she said if you leave alphabet soup on the stove unattended, this would be an example of when an emergency could happen.
What happens?
If you leave alphabet soup on the stove unattended, it could spell disaster. See, it's so funny you couldn't hold it. You just couldn't hold it in. You wanted to say that's not funny, but it was too funny to hold back. Thank you, Dawn. That's a
hilarious,
good joke.
Dawn, and thank you so much. I'm trying to reserve negative comments. That's part of my gratitude for Thanksgiving.
Yeah, Tom says wheelchairs are not designed for disasters. That's the truth. And but lots of times people have more than one wheelchair. And for instance, a power wheelchair is not designed for a disaster at all.
Right.
So even if you use a power wheelchair and never use a manual wheelchair, you still ought to get yourself some access to a manual wheelchair, because that's a lot more. Here, we'll let Dawn off the hook here.
Yeah. Thank you, Dawn. And I'm sorry.
So what do you all have on your minds? Oh, nope. It's not time for that, is it? It's actually time to say goodbye to the long-lasting YouTube viewer. The YouTube viewers, that for you the show is coming to an end right now. Facebook, we're going to continue on for a little bit, but we thank you for coming. This is one of our longer shows, these Wednesday night with Yoots, and we would love to see you next Wednesday night as well. If you're watching recorded, we've got recommended videos over there and down below. And one of the things that we like to say here at Uniquely the Same is, I'm uniquely the same, you're uniquely the same. Together, we could change the world. Thank you so much for coming by. We will see you next week.